The bookstore had been on Clement Street for over 30 years. It wasn't the biggest bookstore in the city, but it wasn't small either. 3 rooms, wooden shelves that went almost to the ceiling, a reading area near the back, with 4 armchairs and a lamp that was always on, and a little display window that Iris rearranged every 2 weeks without being asked. It was the kind of place people walked past for years before finally walking in. And once they walked in, they usually came back. Iris had worked there for 3 years. She opened Tuesday through Sunday, 9 in the morning until 7 at night. She knew the rhythm of each day, the quiet Tuesday mornings, the busy Friday afternoons, the families that came on Sundays with children who touched everything. But Saturday was her favorite. Saturday was when the regulars came. She knew her regular customers well. Mrs. Peterson always came in on Saturday mornings, looking for something to read to her grandchildren. Mr. Harlow came every 2 weeks, always for history books, always paid in cash, always said thank you twice. There was the teenager who only bought graphic novels and pretended not to when his father was with him. The woman who worked night shifts at the hospital nearby and came in every Saturday afternoon looking for something that would help her sleep. Not medication, just a story calm enough to slow her thoughts down. Iris knew them all. And then there was Caleb. Caleb first walked in 11 months ago. It was a Tuesday, which was unusual because most regulars started on Saturdays. He stood at the door for a moment, looking around like he wasn't sure he was in the right place. Then he walked in anyway. He spent 40 minutes looking at the shelves without saying a word. Then he picked up a book, a thick science fiction novel, the kind most people found intimidating, paid for it and left. He came back the following Saturday, and every Saturday after that. 27 books in 11 months. Iris knew because she had counted. Not in a strange way, at least that was what she told herself. She just had a good memory for books, for people who loved books, science fiction, then a collection of short stories, then poetry, which surprised her, then a novel about a father and a son that made Iris cry on page 43 when she read it years ago. Then, inexplicably, a cookbook. Each book was a small window, and Iris, without meaning to, had been looking through every single one. She didn't know his last name. She didn't know what he did for work. She didn't know where he lived, but she knew he underlined things in books because he once bought a used copy and apologized for the marks someone else had left. She knew he took his coffee black because he always stopped at the little cafe next door before coming in. And she knew that when he smiled, really smiled, not just politely, his eyes did something that made it very hard to look at the shelves. 27 books, 11 months. And this Saturday, like every Saturday, Iris straightened the shelves and waited. The first time Caleb spoke more than 3 words to her was on his 4th visit. He had been standing in front of the fiction shelves for a long time, longer than usual. Iris was pretending to organize the front display when he turned around and looked at her. "Do you have anything that isn't about war or death?" Iris looked at him. "That's most of literature." "I know." He looked back at the shelves. "That's the problem." She almost smiled. Almost. She walked over and pulled out a slim novel from the middle shelf, a story about 2 people who keep missing each other in the same city for years without knowing it. "Try this one." He read the back cover, then the first page, then he looked up. "Does it end well?" Iris thought about it for a second. It ends honestly. He bought it. The following Saturday, he came back and said, "You were right." That was all. Then he went to look at the shelves. Iris turned back to her counter and decided she needed to reorganize the entire front display again. After that, the conversations grew, slowly, the way things grow when nobody is pushing them. Some Saturdays they talked for 10 minutes, some Saturdays just 2. Once, when the store was quiet and the rain was hitting the window, they talked for almost half an hour about a book they had both read and disagreed about completely. That was the best Saturday. Iris learned things without asking. He worked with numbers, something about data she didn't fully understand. He had moved to the city 2 years ago from somewhere smaller. He didn't watch much television. He thought most sequels were unnecessary. He had a younger sister he clearly adored, based on the way he lit up the one time he mentioned her. None of this came from direct questions. It came from the spaces between things, from what he picked up and put down, from what made him pause. Iris was good at reading spaces. It was, after all, what she did for a living. The cookbook was the one she never figured out. It was a Saturday in March. He came in looking slightly distracted, not unhappy, just somewhere else in his head. He walked the shelves for a while, then stopped at the cooking section, which he had never looked at before. He picked up a book about Italian food, flipped through it, put it back, picked it up again. "Are you learning to cook?" Iris asked. He looked up like he had forgotten she was there. "Trying to." "For anyone in particular?" He smiled at that, but not the real smile, the polite one. "Just for myself." He bought the cookbook. Iris watched him leave and thought, "Just for myself." She replayed it more times than she would ever admit. She told herself it didn't mean anything. She was pretty good at telling herself things that weren't entirely true. The Saturday everything changed started like every other Saturday. Iris arrived at 9, put the coffee on, straightened the shelves, turned the lamp on in the reading area. Mrs. Peterson came in at 9:15, looking for something with dragons. Mr. Harlow came at 10, paid in cash, said thank you twice. At 10:30, Iris was reorganizing the new arrivals when she heard the door. She didn't look up right away. She never did. It was a habit she had developed specifically because of Caleb, because looking up too fast felt like admitting something. She counted to 3. Then she looked up. Caleb was there, and so was someone else. She was tall, with dark hair pulled back, and a casual jacket over a simple shirt, the kind of person who looked put together without trying. She was laughing at something Caleb had said before they were even fully inside. Iris noticed all of this in approximately 2 seconds. Then she looked back down at the books in her hands and realized she had no idea what she was doing with them. She put them on the shelf, any shelf. Caleb and the woman moved through the store slowly. The woman picked things up and read the backs with genuine interest. She asked Caleb questions. He answered. She laughed again. It was a comfortable laugh, the kind that comes from knowing someone well. Iris reorganized the same 3 books 4 times. She wasn't jealous. She told herself that very clearly. She was just surprised. That was the word, surprised. She had never seen Caleb with anyone before. In 11 months and 27 books, he had always walked through that door alone. It had never occurred to her to wonder why. Oh God, Iris thought, not as a prayer, just as the only 2 words that fit. She had spent 11 months reading Caleb through his books, constructing a version of him from science fiction and poetry, and a cookbook she never fully understood. And it had never once crossed her mind that someone else might already know the real version. The woman picked up a novel from the staff recommendations shelf, Iris's shelf, the one she curated herself, and turned to Caleb. "Have you read this one?" Caleb glanced at it. "No, but Iris recommended it to me once." The woman looked toward the counter. Iris looked down at the books in her hands. "That's her?" the woman asked, quietly, but not quietly enough. "Yeah, just that." Iris decided this was an excellent moment to go to the back room and check on absolutely nothing. The back room was small and smelled like cardboard and dust. Iris stood there for approximately 90 seconds, looking at a box of books that needed to be unpacked and deciding she was absolutely not going to think about what just happened. She was not going to think about the comfortable laugh. She was not going to think about 11 months and 27 books, and the way his eyes did that thing when he really smiled. She picked up a book from the box, put it back, picked up another one. "Iris?" She turned around. Caleb was standing in the doorway of the back room, alone. "Sorry, the door was open." He looked around at the boxes. "Bad time?" "No." She put the book down. "Just unpacking?" He nodded. He didn't leave. "She's looking at the travel section," he said, as if that explained why he was standing there. "Okay," Iris said. A small silence. "She does that everywhere," he added. "Looks at things very carefully before deciding." Iris wasn't sure if he was talking about books. They walked back to the main room together. The woman, whose name Iris would learn in approximately 4 minutes, was June, had found 3 books in the travel section and was holding them like someone who intended to buy all 3. "June, this is Iris," Caleb said. "She runs the place." "I don't run it," Iris said. "I just work here." "She recommends the best books," Caleb said, as if she hadn't spoken. June smiled, a warm, open smile, the kind that was very difficult to dislike. "He talks about this place all the time." Iris looked at Caleb. Caleb looked at the shelves. "Let me show you the new arrivals," Iris said, because she needed to say something, and that was the most professional thing she could find. She spent the next 10 minutes showing June the new arrivals. June was genuinely interested, asked good questions, and had clearly read more than most people Iris knew. Iris decided, against her will, that she liked her. That felt deeply inconvenient. Then Caleb came to the counter alone. June had gone back to the travel section. She had put one book down and was reconsidering, apparently. And Caleb stood in front of Iris with that particular look he sometimes had, the one she could never quite read. "I need something new," he said. "You always need something new. Something I wouldn't normally pick." Iris looked at him for a moment. In 11 months, she had always recommended what she thought he would like, something close to what he already knew. Safe recommendations, professional ones. She didn't know what made her do what she did next. She turned around and went to the small shelf behind the counter. Her shelf, the one that held the books she loved most. The ones she didn't put out on display because they felt too personal to recommend to just anyone. She pulled out a slim book with a dark blue cover, a collection of letters between 2 writers who had never met in person but had written to each other for 30 years. She had read it 4 times. She had never recommended it to anyone. She put it on the counter. Caleb looked at it, then at her. This one? This one. He picked it up slowly, like it was something that might break. Caleb stood at the counter and read the first page. Iris pretended to check something on the computer. She was very focused on absolutely nothing. He read slowly. She knew he did. She had noticed that about him early on. The way he never rushed the first page, like he was deciding whether to trust the book before going further. Then he looked up, not the polite smile, not the regular one, the real one. Where did you find this? A small bookstore, she paused, in another city, a long time ago. He looked back at the page. Someone recommended it to you? No. She straightened a pen on the counter that didn't need straightening. I found it by accident. Wrong shelf, wrong day. I almost put it back. But you didn't. But I didn't. He closed the book carefully, holding his place with one finger, even though he was only on page 1. Iris thought, nobody holds their place on page 1 unless they already know they're coming back. She didn't say that. She rang up the book and put it in a paper bag. Thank you, Caleb said, and then quieter, for this one especially. Before Iris could answer, June appeared at the counter with her 3 travel books and a 4th she had found somewhere. The moment closed like a book. They left at 11:45. Caleb said goodbye the way he always did, a small nod, her name, nothing more. June waved and said she would definitely be back, and Iris believed her, which made everything slightly more complicated. The door closed, the bookstore settled back into its Saturday rhythm. A couple came in and spent 20 minutes in the fiction section. A man asked for a recommendation for his wife's birthday and left with 2 options because he couldn't decide. The afternoon light shifted slowly across the front window the way it always did, but Iris moved through all of it like someone on automatic. 27 books, 11 months, dozens of Saturdays. She had built something in her head, carefully, quietly, without meaning to, and she had never stopped to ask whether any of it was real or whether she had just been reading too much into the spaces between things. She was, after all, very good at reading spaces, maybe too good. She picked up her coffee. It was cold. She drank it anyway. God, she said quietly to the empty counter. I've been such an idiot, not with bitterness, just with the particular exhaustion of someone who has just understood something obvious. She was about to go to the back room when she saw it, on the counter, right where Caleb had been standing, a small piece of paper, the kind torn carefully from a notebook, the edges clean. She almost swept it away without looking, but she looked. It wasn't a receipt. 6 lines written in handwriting she didn't recognize, but somehow already knew. Small, slightly uneven, the kind that belongs to someone who writes fast because they're trying to keep up with their own thoughts. She read it once, then again. Then she sat down on the stool behind the counter and held the piece of paper in both hands and looked at the bookstore around her, the shelves, the armchairs, the lamp that was always on, and felt something shift quietly inside her chest. She didn't go to the back room. She went to her shelf, the small one behind the counter, the one with the books too personal to recommend to just anyone. She took out her own copy of the Blue Book, the one she had found by accident in another city a long time ago. She opened it to the first page, and she wrote something back. The following Saturday, Iris arrived at the bookstore at 8:45, 15 minutes early. She told herself it was because she wanted to rearrange the new arrivals shelf. That was not why. She put the coffee on, straightened the shelves, turned the lamp on in the reading area. Then she went behind the counter and took out the blue book. She had wrapped it simply, brown paper, a piece of string, nothing elaborate. The kind of wrapping that says, "This matters, but I didn't want to make it strange." She placed it on the counter with a small card on top, just his name, nothing else on the outside. Then she waited. Mrs. Peterson came at 9:15, Mr. Harlow at 10. A young woman Iris didn't recognize, spent 40 minutes in the poetry section and left without buying anything, which happened sometimes and was perfectly fine. At 10:23, the door opened. Iris was behind the counter. She counted to 3. Then she looked up. Caleb was there, alone. He came to the counter the way he always did, no rush, hands in his pockets, looking at the shelves as he walked like he was saying hello to old friends. Then he saw the package. He stopped. He looked at his name on the card. Then at Iris. "What's this?" "Something I should have recommended a long time ago." She kept her voice even, professional. "Consider it a late recommendation." He picked it up slowly, turned it over, looked at her again. "Can I open it?" "It's yours." He pulled the string carefully and unfolded the paper. When he saw the blue cover, he went very still for a moment. "This is your copy," he said. Not a question. "I have another one." That was not entirely true. She had ordered another one on Thursday night. He opened it to the first page. She watched him read what she had written there. It didn't take long. It was only a few lines, but he read it twice. When he looked up, it was with the real smile, the one that did that thing to his eyes, and something else she hadn't seen before. "June is my sister," Caleb said. Iris blinked. "Last Saturday, the woman with me." He looked at the book in his hands. "My younger sister. She was visiting from out of town. I wanted to show her this place." The bookstore was very quiet. Somewhere outside, a car passed. A woman walked by with a dog. Saturday moved the way Saturdays do on that street, unhurried, familiar, like it had nowhere to be. Iris thought about the comfortable laugh, the way they had walked in together. She thought about 11 months of reading spaces and somehow missing the most obvious thing. "You thought," he started. "I didn't think anything," she said. He looked at her with the kind of expression that meant he knew exactly what she had thought. "I've been coming here every Saturday for 11 months, he said quietly. "I know, 27 books. Something shifted in his face. "You counted." "I have a good memory for books." "Iris." "For people who love books," she added, as if that helped. It didn't help, but the way he said her name, just that, just her name, with that particular weight, made her stop pretending it did. He came around the counter, not fast, not dramatically, just around it, the way you go around. Something that was never really supposed to be in the way. He stopped beside her, close enough that she could see the cover of the blue book in his hands. "I've been trying to find a way to tell you something for about 4 months, he said. "But every time I came in, you recommended a book that said it better than I could." Iris looked at him. "Which book?" He thought about it. "All of them." Outside, the city moved the way cities do on Saturday mornings, slowly, without urgency, like it had nowhere to be. Inside the bookstore, the lamp was on in the reading area. The coffee was warm. The shelves stood the way they always stood. "I wrote something in the book," Iris said, "on the first page." I know, I read it. Twice, she said. The corner of his mouth moved. Twice. She looked at the shelves she had straightened 100 times, the lamp that was always on, the armchairs in the corner that had been there since before she arrived. Then she looked at him. Same time next Saturday? She asked. It was the most professional thing she could say. He understood exactly what she meant. Same time, he said. And for the first time in 11 months and 27 books, Iris didn't reorganize anything after he left. She just stood there, holding the blue book, and smiled.